Alright guys, this is going to be a really quick tutorial on how to connect a Topcon GPS receiver with built-in cell phone connection to a RTN real-time network. I'm using magnet field. I'll make a new job. Ignore the connection settings here, but I'll make a new job. Call it Connect GPS. Next. I am selecting the configuration that I want for this job to actually, run, meaning the Hyper-2 CDMA. That's the Hyper-2 Topcon receiver that has a Verizon CDMA connection. So hit next, select your appropriate coordinate system. If you don't have them here in the drop down, you can always add them from any of the available ones over here by just selecting the ones that you want. Typically it's SPC 83, state plane coordinate 83, and I don't know, adding, let's say, Virginia North. So here we go, add it and we have it there, but the one that I actually want to use is Maryland, so it is already in the drop down. Depending on the network that you're connecting to, because I'm connecting to the Topcon national network, the TopNet Live network, I do not want to make any changes to my transformation, which means I'm actually selecting the NAT83, no transformation for my datum because it's inheriting the correct datum of the network itself. This will actually make a difference depending on the network that you're connecting to, but the Topcon one is definitely NAD83, no trans. If you don't have a GeoIn model here, select it from the drop down. Again, if you don't have it in the drop down, you can select it and add it by choosing the right model from the ones that you might have downloaded already. But in the southeast, which actually stretches all the way to somewhere middle of Pennsylvania, we're in the grid 8, so this should be correct for anywhere from middle of Pennsylvania down to Florida and as far west as probably West Virginia. So this is where we should be. Select your units. We are in the right units here. Northing, easting, height for our coordinates, which is correct. Hit the green check. This starts the job for you. So we have the job right up here. And now what we have to do is make sure that our GPS is actually on. So for demonstration purposes, I'll just do hit connect, and you should see if your GPS is on, you should be able to see the GPS found under your Bluetooth devices that your computer or data collector searches. So I happen to have this guy. Every serial number will be different, but mine happens to be that. So hit select, there's no pin number, hit connect, and as long as you're within range to the receiver, your computer or data collector should connect, indicating first of all by this confirmation sound, and then you can see that it looks like a GPS receiver is actually connected. Now the device switches over to connecting to a network, which is indicated over here. You'll see if you have cell phone signal, there's coverage in your area, the internet connection and the mount point request will get checked by itself. If you don't get these checked, that means you have no cell phone coverage or your settings are wrong. But if you successfully connect to the internet, the server also responds with mount points, and then typically the mount points that you have, and I'll disconnect for now just to show what the different mount points are on the national network. But on Topcon's national network you have a couple of first mount points which you can really skip if you're not an agricultural user on a tractor or something. Canada is Canada, so if you're in Canada you can choose those, but in the US you can choose between different types of corrections. RTK stands for single base correction, so this is a physical base connection to the nearest base that's in your vicinity. Or if you have a net RTK correction like these two, it's actually creating a virtual base station that you're connecting to. So typically neither one's better than the other, depends on the manufacturer of the device that you're connecting to, but I usually use the RTK RTCM3, or I go with a net RTK RTCM3. These two are my usually go-to ones to select, but today I'll just connect the RTK RTCM3, hit connect, And if the connection is established, you will see that there's going to be a little green line that the icon just refreshed over here because I disconnected and reconnected. But you'll see that once the connection is established, those green lines will reappear right here in this corner. Once you have that, if you hit home, that's your indication that there is connection to not just the GPS but also to a GPS network. And I go into Topo, I should be able to now see a fixed position with a relative accuracy, number of satellites, and you're ready to start taking a measurement. So you can change to see your map if you want, but these are your coordinates over here. If you want to change anything, you can just hit any of these blank fields that you see here, or even the field that's here, and change it to what you want. So let's say we want a time over here instead of our northing or easting, so I'll switch it back to northing. But alright, so now go ahead and actually take a measurement. That measurement will be something that you can go ahead and actually see in your edit points. That's your northing or easting and your elevation, and it's all based on using a 2-meter pole, which is specified in the height preferences or settings right here in the configuration. Go ahead and give it a name, call it a GS for ground shot, for example, and take another measurement. And I'm not really moving the pole, so that's why it's not moving, but as long as you're moving with the pole and you have a nice 1-second update rate, fixed position, and a good horizontal vertical position, you are ready to go. You can take a little bit more accurate measurement by hitting the button on the left, which you can see that it actually takes 3 measurements, and it gives you the option to accept or reject the actual measurement. So we'll accept it again, and now we should have 3 measurements off the same point, which will vary a little bit because we're outside and GPS is fluctuating, but not by much. Alright, last step is, if you're finished with your survey, hit home and gracefully disconnect by doing the same in reverse, meaning going to connect, hit the disconnect button. This will disconnect the network, which means Verizon or your internet connection will now be stopped, which means you will see that the little icon will go away, and then you'll have to go into general and actually disconnect the GPS from the device that you're connected to via Bluetooth. So disconnect, now there's nothing, now you can hit home, close, and exit. Hope this was a little bit helpful. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. And good luck.